Welcome back to the Jeff Minter story. Currently making my way through chapter 2 of the Harry Years. So I left off the last video by looking at Gridrunner on the VIC-20. There was Gridrunner Evolutions. So Gridrunner, a big hit in the UK and the US alike, launching Llamasoft into a new level of success. In the 40 years since, Jeff has revisited his signature game numerous times, updating and improving it for new platforms. There's a video to watch there. Headbangers Heaven. Billed as a game for the heavy metal fiend, Headbangers Heaven was less about music and more about a guy named Chico who enjoyed being hit on the head with heavy metal hammers. The original VIC-20 version was released in 1982, with this Spectrum version following in 1983. Headbangers Heaven. 48K Spectrum. Got the option to play this. Simple left, right. That's all there is. Left and right controls. This is Chico. Hi there, man. He is part of a strange group of English youth, the Headbangers. Heavy rock man. They often utter phrases like tasteful bit of Led Zepp. Ugh. Ugh. Headbanging is seemingly a frenzied attempt to separate the brain and skull by violent head motions. When Chico found out that he could bring his head into repeated contact with heavy metal and get money, he said, "Sounds like heaven, man. Where is this hoopy place?" Anyway, that's the instructions. You got a score, you got headbangers, you got pain. My skull hurts. What about the red one? Oh yeah. Okay, so stand under the red ones and avoid the others. Otherwise, it's kind of like a headbanger version of Space Invaders. My skull hurts. So this was done for the Spectrum. My score's still 0. What do I do with the cash? Yeah. Game over. Score 0. Your rank, Barry Manilow, class 5. Try again. Well, I'm trying to figure it out. No, that one. You can stand under the red ones. Pick up cash, maybe go back the other way. But not when you've got cash in your hand! Got cash. Let me get over there! So that's how you, yeah. That's how you increase your score, but it quickly gets very difficult. And that was Headbangers Heaven. Attack of the Mutant Camels. After reading a review of the Empire Strikes Back video game that described attack walkers as robot camels, Jeff decided to take the metaphor to its logical endpoint with Llamasoft's first proper Commodore 64 game, and the second to prominently feature large furry beasties. Players must dodge and take down a parade of giant ever-marching alien camels. There is Attack of the Mutant Camels. Play option is there. Should be camels come from the left and I remember this. It wasn't easy. I'm flying through this stuff here. Laser Zone. The Commodore 64 was shiny and new, but hadn't sold many units yet, so Llamasoft's attention was still focused on the VIC-20 market. Just String released another game that would fondly remembered called Laser Zone. It was a straightforward shooter with a clever twist. The players controlled ships on the bottom side of the screen and had to handle enemies from both directions. It's Laser Zone on the VIC-20. We play. So you got both sides. Bad news. This was a decent VIC-20 game. Assault 1. Repulsed. Good sound effects. You can go backwards? There's a rewind. Don't know how I did that. Yeah. 49 Mount Pleasant. For well over a decade, the business office of Llamasoft was in Jeff's parents' home in Tadley. It was not uncommon to see boxes and boxes of games on cassette tape overflowing into their living spaces. Eventually, they had to put an extension on the house that served as the official Llamasoft laboratory. That huge camel atop that monitor there. Matrix Gridrunner 2. In March 1983, Jeff took his first trip to the US to visit the Hesware offices in Brisbane, California, just south of San Francisco. Learning how well Gridrunner was performing in the US, he quickly devised a sequel called Matrix, which added several new features to make the Gridrunner formula even more challenging. So again on the VIC-20, Matrix. You can play that. Got you. Yeah. Hard as nails. Can't do nothing about these things around the edges. Oh, I actually cleared one. Game over. Atari 8-bit. Next to Commodore and Sinclair, the other major player in the growing 1980s British computer market was Atari, which had a line of 8-bit computers like the 400 and 800. Jeff owned an Atari, but generally only used it to play the beloved space battle game Star Raiders. But once Gridrunner took off, he created an Atari version. There's the Atari 800. Birmingham, 1983. From April 28th to 30th in 1983, over 16,000 visitors flocked to the city of Birmingham for the first Midland Computer Fair, where all manner of companies in the computer business had set up booths. Llamasoft was in attendance with a variety of games for several platforms for sale at the show. Hover Bother. While in Birmingham for the Midland Computer Fair, Jeff and his father lodged at a farmhouse bed and breakfast surrounded by immaculately maintained gardens. This gave them the idea for Hover Bother, a game about clipping the grass with a borrowed, well, technically stolen lawnmower. That's, so I have played this. I recorded a video on it. I think on the Atari. This is the Commodore 64 version of Hover Bother. Gordon Bennett has borrowed his neighbour's air mower lawnmower. Mow your way through as many of the 16 lawns as you can before the pursuing neighbour retrieves his mower. Set your dog onto the neighbour to help you out of tight spots and don't annoy the garden. Try not to plough through the neat flower beds or overheat your mower. You've got the option to play it. The music might get a bit annoying. You move up, you move down, move left, you move right. Dog attack. Or you can toggle the music anyway. Got the option to toggle it there. With left button. Dog attack with A. Jim won't mind if I borrow his mower. Aha, I see. Get off the flowers. He took it back. Probably the first garden simulators I ever played was this game. I turned the music off. Might get repetitive. Get off the damn flowers! And you have to sit through these sequences each time as well. Give me that mower! That was Hover Bother. Commodore Computer Show, June 1983. Matrix Gridrunner 2 now available for both the VIC-20 and the Commodore 64. Properly titled Metagalactic Llamas Battle at the Edge of Time, possibly the most stupidly named game of all time, says Jeff. Meta Llamas was another space shooter starring a camelid, this time the one that gave the developer its name. The twist was that you could and often needed to reflect your shots off a force field to hit your targets. There it is, on the unexpanded VIC-20. In just 3.5K. You move up, move barrier down, move left, move right, move fire. I see. Way. Yeah. Aha! Landed on Ed. Game over. PCW show in September 1983. Jeff launched Hover Bother at the Personal Computer World Show in London in September 1983. Right there. Even with a lawnmower attached to the wall. Llamasoft's lineup, a full-colour advertisement that began running in December 1983, featured illustrations for each of the games in Llamasoft's growing library of bestsellers. You can zoom in on this. The metagalactic llamas battle at the edge of time, Laser Zone, Matrix, Hover Bother, Attack of the Mutant Camels, Gridrunner, and all that's there. Having made Camels the antagonist of the previous game, Jeff felt bad about blasting his favourite beasties, and turned the tables with Revenge of the Mutant Camels for Commodore 64. The focus is still on a giant ungulate on the march, but the player now controls the camel in question, shooting down waves of increasingly bizarre opponents. So there it is. Revenge of the Mutant Camels. Commodore 64. Got the option to play it. Stand by your beast. You can leap up and the pyramids with the eyes. I see where Andrew Braybrook got the idea for the sound effects for Paradroid. And that was, yes, Revenge of the Mutant Camels. Computer Fair in December 1981. At the final Computer Fair of 1983 held in Wembley, London, Llamasoft officially launched Revenge of the Mutant Camels. It held a high score competition at the show, and the winner received an amazing prize. They got to travel with Jeff at supersonic speeds in a Concorde jet to Egypt, where they rode camels around the pyramids. Photograph. Hellgate. Apparently feeling the laser zone with its enemies and guns on 2 axes was not complex enough, Jeff produced a follow-up of sorts called Hellgate, in which the player had to simultaneously control 4 ships on each border of the screen, dealing with enemies from all directions. All hell has broken loose. Hellgate on the VIC-20. With a 8 or 16k RAM expansion. We can play it. Die, I will. Oh, this is ridiculous. Controlling 4 things around. Prepare to die, it won't take very long. Game done. Hellgate ad, an updated version of the full page, full colour ad for Hellgate. LAT show Heathrow by January 1984. Sheep in space. Yet another farm animal takes interstellar flight in Sheep in Space. Developed for the Commodore 64, both the top and bottom of the screen have their own landscapes and gravitational fields, and the player must navigate the shifting speeds and forces while keeping their sheepy well fed. Sheep in Space. So the original instruction manual is there. Up and down and left and right. There's extra controls here. You can warp to random hostile. You can warp to upper planet target or lower planet target with X and B. With famous music on the title screen. Players in game 1. You can choose the game entry level and all that stuff as well. Say what? Can you land down there? Oh yeah, you can. You can land on the grass. But don't hit the tree! Ah. Oh, something's firing. Hey! Stomach is famished. I've got to get down. What I'm famished. Stomach is dire. Stomach is dead. So, let's come in at level 3. Crazy stuff. Stomach not bad. Ow! That was on the grass. There's no grass here. Hey! I completed a level. And that is Sheep in Space. Beginning with Sheep in Space, Norway-born airbrush artist began creating the cover illustrations for Llamasoft's games. Although he created box art for a variety of publishers, Lund became closely associated with Llamasoft's games for his skillful translation of Jeff's in-game pixels onto airbrushed fantasy art. As part of his efforts to keep in touch directly with Llamasoft fans, Jeff began producing a newsletter called Nature of the Beast in June 1984. Topics covered in this first issue include the recent release of Sheep in Space, behind-the-scenes info about Llamasoft, and hints towards upcoming games. You can zoom in on it. What is this anyway? AMC, the Atari 8-bit version. That's the Atari computer version of Attack of the Mutant Camels, was released in late 1984, had a significantly more vivid graphic presentation. That is it there. Quick look. Ah yes, I remember playing this. Oh yeah, you bounce all over the place. Whereas on the Commodore 64 you would go through them. The Atari version, another Llamasoft advertisement that ran around the same time, featured the company's hits. A platform action game starring a goat and Cipital. And Cipital on the Commodore 64. We have the option to play that. I don't remember this one so much. I zoom all over the place. You can go all around the edges of the screen and stuff. The end of Hasware. Although it was one of the larger producers of computer games in the US, Hasware couldn't make the numbers add up and went bankrupt in 1984. Suddenly, one of Llamasoft's primary sources of income shrunk to zero, as it no longer had the backing of a publisher that could convert its inexpensive cassette tape games to the more expensive cartridges preferred overseas. Jeff's design philosophy. When you're playing a Llamasoft game, you're playing a little bit of Jeff Minter. Learn about his theory of fun and how he designs games to achieve that feeling. There's a video to play there. The year 1984 did not bring the British dystopia that George Orwell predicted, but it did bring a great deal of computer games about farm animals in outer space. Soon the founder of Llamasoft would meet some real llamas and come back with a vision that was not a game at all. But that is the end of the hairy years. Next time we progress on to Chapter 3, The Light Fantastic. See you next time.